welcome to or welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, I am a psychology student at the University of Southampton, and I thought I would make a hopefully very quick video today on basically telling you what the jump from A-level or level 3 to university is like in terms of psychology. So I've tried to write down kind of all of the topics that I did in A-level / the IB, because I did study the IB, and then what we've done at university, differences in kind of assessments, and general differences and similarities. So first thing I thought I'd start off with is the topics that you study. In A-level you do social influence, you do memory, you do attachment, you do approaches, research methods, psychopathology, you do relationships, sometimes like aggression, those kind of optional ones, and then you do biopsychology. So at university I would say you do a lot more. Well, you kind of touch on all of those briefly, but I feel like the core studies are split into your core sections, like your bio, your cog, and your social. Whereas in A-level, as much as social influence is a social topic, compared to in the IB, it's very little social psych. As in, when you come to uni, the social psychology that you do will be different to the social psychology that you've done in social influence. It's more looking at like social cognition, like social identity theory, social cognitive theory. So you're still looking along the same kind of social lines. I would say if you've done the IB, the social psychology you do at university is much more IB related. As in, we've definitely done more IB themes. We've not done much social psychology. So I've done all of first year now, and we really haven't done much social psych. We do have a social psych module in second year, but currently, from what we've done, it's not really been like what you do in A-levels, but there's also been very little of it. I think we did like 1 week of it. We did 1 or 2 weeks of social cognition in first semester, and I think that's it. We did like relationships, which is social psych technically, but it's not like your typical social psych. So then we have memory. You will do memory at uni. Memory is the most classic psychology thing, I think. It's the most beginner. Like, you will always need your working memory model. Always. Wherever you go, take your working memory model with you, because you're going to need it. So in the IB, we did pretty similar things in terms of memory. We did working memory model, multi-store model, general memory model. And I would say what you do at university is more looking at the models than looking at kind of like the forgetting, the context-dependent cues that you do in A-level. It's more, here's your working memory model, memory. As in, we do have a module next year, well, in a few weeks, that is language and memory, which will be more similar to it'll be more in detail about memory, but for first year, all you really do in memory, at least at my university, is literally like, this is the working memory model, you don't really remember much. It's very brief. Like in a month, we will do a lot more detail, but I think it will be relatively similar to A-level from what I've seen. Actually, let's have a look, because I have written down what we're doing. So we're going to look at memory and emotion, which we did flashbulb memories in the IB. I don't think you do them in A-level. Word processing, haven't done that. Long-term memory, yes. Working memory, yes. Amnesia, haven't really done that. So we're going to do a few things that are kind of A-level related, but you're going to go into a lot more detail. So we're looking a lot more at like language, reading, speech perception, gross. Then we have attachment. So in the IB, you don't do attachment. You can do developmental, but I don't think many people choose developmental. So far in uni, we've done nothing attachment related. I feel like I've seen Bowlby somewhere. Might have been in relationships. We might have done, we've probably done the internal working model. But you do that you do it in the IB, you do it in A-levels. It's not a particularly complex thing. In terms of attachment though, we've not done anything. We don't have our developmental unit until semester 2. So once we finished one semester, we'll move on to semester 2, and then we'll do developmental. But I don't think it will really be like that different to attachment. I mean, it'll be harder obviously, but it'll be very limited on attachment, I think, and much more on actual development. Like if you've done developmental in the IB, it'll probably be that kind of thing. So then approaches. No one really does approaches. Like in the IB, you don't do approaches. You don't really care about approaches. You don't really care about approaches in psychology as a whole, I think. Like in A-level, it's just to introduce you to like different concepts, different key terms. In uni, we did one lesson on approaches, but it was literally because psychology, you're introducing the degree to everyone as if they've never studied it. Other than that, I don't think we've mentioned like behaviourism or anything like that. We've looked at like conditioning, but that's not really necessarily approaches. So yeah, approaches, scrap that, you don't do that at uni. Research methods, you will do this at uni. It'll be much more complex, but you will do research methods. Like in year one, you'll cover, you know, basic things like what's an experiment, what's a null hypothesis, that kind of thing. And then you do stats tests. So I think you do some stats tests in A-level. You basically have to do those. As in, what I've got written down for next year, well, for year two, we're going to do correlations, chi-squared, non-parametric t-tests and ANOVAs, variance analysis, regressions, and t-tests. So research methods, basically, as you get to uni, stops being research methods and becomes data analysis. Like at my uni, it's called research methods and data analysis. It was only research methods in like the first 2 weeks of semester one and then 4 weeks in semester two. Like research methods and data analysis, it's data analysis. Like you need to know your research methods things, but it's more stats. So that is your warning. Stats, maths, it's not really your friendly research methods from A-level, it's demon research methods. But I love them, but I also hate them. So psychopathology. You don't really do a topic called psychopathology, at least not in my uni, but you will do a mental health module. That's it. Like you don't do much mental health. Again, if you somehow haven't researched and realised psychology is not mental health, here's your information. Psychology is not all mental health. 1/8 of what we've done was mental health, and that's it. And it's not really how you look at it at A-level. It's much more IB. So in A-level, you kind of look at like a biological explanation for one disorder, a cognitive explanation for another disorder. You don't really do social causes, which is a bit weird because social is great. In the IB, you do bio-psych, you do bio-cognitive, psychosocial, and then you do treatments. It's much more that kind of thing. As in, we did 3 disorders. We did Alzheimer's, depression and schizophrenia. We did biological approach, cognitive approach to them, psychosocial approach to them, like looking at different models of treatment, like the medical model, social model, those kinds of things. So it's much less basic, I guess. Yeah. Relationships. So if you've done the IB and you did the relationships topic, you won't really do anything different at uni. We did psychology of attractiveness, which was pretty much just relationships. And there was maybe 2 things I learned in that were new. Everything else I'd done in the IB already. So you're quite lucky if you've done that, and especially if you come to Southampton and you do psychology of attractiveness, it's a fairly easy module because there's nothing new. In terms of what you do at A-level, the relationships things you do at A-level are kind of slightly similar. Like you'll do like internal working model from attachment, and I don't really think there's some overlap, but again, I would say relationships is more IB oriented. Then biopsych. So biopsych you will do in A-level, you will do it in a degree, and it'll be much harder. So biopsych in A-level, I wouldn't say it's like hard. I would say it's just like GCSE level biology, I would say it's just GCSE level biology, but more niche. Like I wouldn't say it's necessarily harder, it's just all of the content is on one part of biology essentially. When you come to uni, much harder. As in, I did biology as well as an A-level, well, as an IB subject. And the things we did in year 13, as in one of our last topics in year 13, because it was the hardest topic, is one of the first things we did in our bio. What did we do? We did something like neuroscience, behavioural neuroscience, that's what we did. And that was one of the first things we did in behavioural neuroscience. And it's not particularly easy. Biopsych is going to be hard. Even if you've done biology, you don't do enough neurobiology, enough neuroscience for it to be easy. Like biopsych is probably the biggest difference from A-level to uni. So those are the subjects that you kind of do at A-level. Might not be with everything. I've kind of gone for AQA because that's superior exam board. So you don't really do many of the topics. You kind of take elements from each topic, and then I would say research methods and biopsych are going to be the most different. Like you still study them, but in a very different way. Then at uni, other things that we've studied personality. So we've looked at like the big five, which I think you do a bit in A-level. We've looked at different theories of personality. Yeah. We've also looked at intelligence, which you very briefly do in the IB in the biological section when you look at twin studies and you do Bouchard, genetics, that kind of thing. Again, it's not particularly complex. It's really, honestly, it's not that big a jump. You study roughly the same areas of things. The only big difference is going to be your research methods in biopsych, and then also how you're assessed. So I'm now going to kind of go over how you're assessed in A-level versus how you're assessed in uni, also /IB for A-level because I didn't do A-levels. But yeah. So in uni, you sometimes get multiple choice questions. And I know what you're thinking, easy. Multiple choice questions are actually really hard. And I know you have a 25% chance of getting the answer right, but I would honestly I'd rather have a 10 marker because I can waffle through that if I don't know the answer. If it's a multiple choice question and I don't know the answer, how do I differentiate between them? How do I pick? Like in biology, we had a paper one that was purely multiple choice. Everyone's like, oh, that's so easy. No, that was honestly my worst paper in biology because I just couldn't do it. So you will sometimes have multiple choice. We had that in one topic, but it wasn't actually like a final assessment, but it would be non-COVID times, I think. You don't really have like short answer questions in uni. As in, when you do A-level, your exam paper has 1 markers in it. Like in the IB, you've got nothing smaller than a 9 marker. In A-level, you got some tiny questions. You're probably not going to get them at uni. Like you're never really going to get like explicitly told like this is a 6 marker or anything like that, but you might get a set of questions and you just kind of have to write 200 words to explain them, but they're normally worth like 10 marks each, 10 points each, and they're very different. They're just not the same. Like the questions at uni are harder, they're longer answer questions, and yeah. Then, in terms of your essays in A-level are short. You have 12 markers and 16 markers. That's quite a small baby. In the IB, you have a 22 marker. That's again quite a small baby compared to uni. In uni, they're not necessarily like worth a chunk of marks, but like your 1500 word essay is going to be much longer than your essay for A-level. Like, they're very different and the style is so different. I did mention that I might make a video, like I have got a video talking about kind of how I wrote first class essays, and I do only have 2 that are first class. They're really good first class essays, so good enough for me. But yeah, I might potentially do a video going through those essays. Actually, I think I have 3. Like I might do a video going through my first class essays to show you what they look like and then compare them to my IB ones, or just not even compare them. Like if that's something you're interested in, let me know because I will probably do it anyway, but it'd be nice to hear that someone wants me to do it. Then at uni, you have group work assessments. In A-level, your actual grade doesn't come from group work. You go and you sit your paper on your own. It doesn't matter what Steve next door does. Like in uni though, if Steve next door's not pulling his weight, your whole project sucks and you will fail, and group work sucks. I have a whole video about why online uni sucks, but 90% of it was me hating group work because group work at uni is awful, but you have to do it, and your grades will not be the best from group work. Like, it's a burden, it sucks, I hate it. I feel like that's pretty much everything I have to say. Like, I've gone through the actual topics that you're going to study, the differences. I do have a video, I'll put it in the cards here, of everything I studied in first year. So like, if you're coming to the University of Southampton, that's exactly what you're going to study. And if you're not, it might just be a good idea of what you will actually do roughly in first year of your degree. Every year, every uni will do something different, but you do have to hit certain BPS criteria, so you will do roughly the same thing over the course of your degree, but something I might do in first year, you might do in second year, something you do in second year, I might do in first year. Is that the same thing? Did I just say? I think I just said the same thing. But like, you'll probably do the same topics, just in different orders or in different years. Then in terms of assessments, your assessment is different essentially. Like, you also sometimes you'll have like more courseworky things, as in not everything is on your final grade. You have like, an essay halfway through the year that will, that could be 90% of your grade, it could be 40% of your grade. Like, it's not all like, what's the word? It's not like ride or die. but it's not all ride or die on your final grade. Like if you get into your exam and you know, if that's bad, if your other essays are good, you've done fine. I literally, in one of my exams, in like, it was like a coursework piece as well, it wasn't even like a final timed exam, I did bad. I got a 62, which for me is horrific. Like, it's not good. I didn't think I'd done bad, but I also didn't think I'd done good, but yeah, that was bad. I literally needed a 75 to get a first in that module. I got 78 in the next exam. My overall grade came to a 73. Like, it really doesn't matter that much how you do in one individual assignment. Obviously, it'd be nice to have both of them, you know, consistently maybe at a 70. But if you do get one at 62, you can just yank it back up with a 78 somewhere else. Like, it's okay if you fail in some bits. Kind of same in A-level, like if you mess up your research method section, but your attachment sections are great, you've kind of balanced yourself out. Like, you can balance yourself out at uni, essentially, in terms of... I feel like that might not have been the most useful video, but if you do just kind of want an idea as to what the key differences will be in terms of your topic, in terms of your assessment, then there you go. If you want any advice for uni, I might have some videos on advice for uni. I don't really know, but if you do have any questions, you know, let me know in the comments or let me know on Instagram, and I'll happily reply to your messages. And if you are coming to uni to do psychology, best of luck. It'll be a bit boring, but it won't all be that boring. It'll be quite boring, but not all of it. You're welcome.